Am I the asshole for moving out after my sister wanted to triple my rent due to dad cutting me off? My sister is 2 years younger than me. I took a gap year, meaning that when I was in my first year of university, she was applying for her own unis and courses. My sister liked a university about 20 minutes away from mine. She missed out on halls and rent in the area is expensive, so Dad said if I found a flat that could suit both of us, he would pay for half of the overall rent and my sister and I could pay a quarter each. Rent in the area on a 2-bedroom starts at around £1,000 per month, so this was a bargain. I found a flat, and my sister and I have been living together since September 2019. I'm now finishing up my 3rd year of university. I've been dating my boyfriend for a year. My boyfriend is a transgender man. I didn't tell Dad because he has expressed transphobic views previously and it's not his business. My boyfriend is on testosterone and it's administered via injection. My sister found his kit and questioned us on why there was a case containing vials and needles in the flat. We told her the truth, saying she can't tell Dad. Dad rang me a week later calling my boyfriend a tranny, and saying he won't pay to put a roof over a dyke's head, so my sister and I are on our own in paying for the flat. My sister swears she didn't tell him. Frankly, I'm not sure I believe her. I told my sister that I could pay £500 a month, so if she can come up with the other £500, we could continue living here. She says she can't do £500 as she's only budgeted for £250 per month, and that because I'm the one who got us into this, I should be paying £750. I said I can't do £750 and that it's fair that we pay half each. She said that she shouldn't have to pay more because of my issue, and maintained that I should pay £750. Things got worse and worse at the flat, with the rent deadline getting closer, and my sister insisting that I should pay £750 and not backing down. As things got worse there, I started spending more time at my boyfriend's place. A few days ago he asked me to move in with him and I agreed. I've already paid £500 of rent for February, and my boyfriend and I found a studio flat within our budget that will let us move in March. My sister and I are renting on a monthly contract, so I have the option to just not renew it. I've told my sister what my plan is and she's furious. Says I've fucked her over because she's now got less than 3 weeks to sort herself out, she can't afford the full £1,000 per month alone, and Dad isn't willing to help her because he's convinced she knew my boyfriend was trans and hid it from him. Even just flat shares in the area start at about £600, well over double what she's budgeted. All she can afford right now is petrol for the drive home, well over 3 hours away. She says I'm being unfair, selfish, and cruel, and that I'm intentionally fucking her over. Am I the asshole? And #X200B. Info: Dad lives over 3 hours away, with my mum and other sister. My boyfriend is not openly transgender, and Dad has met him and had no idea he was trans before this. Dad has also not entered the flat in months, so he couldn't have snooped around and found the tea on his own. There is a possibility that my sister told our mother or other sister, who then told Dad, so my sister didn't tell him herself but was still the source of information. There's no logical scenario that I can come up with where my sister wasn't involved somehow. Maybe she should have kept her mouth shut then. Not the asshole. She caused the mess, knowing what your dad is like, she still ran and told him. Not the asshole. There is exactly 100% chance your sister told your dad about your BF. She was the only other family member who knew about it. She made her own bed, let her lie in it. Not the asshole. It makes no difference that your dad cut you off or why that happened, and it makes no difference whether she told him or not. Fact is, you've always paid half of the rent each because a third party covered the rest. Now that third party isn't paying, I cannot fathom a reason why the 50-50 arrangement should change. She had a chance to get on board and pay her share. Not the asshole. Your sister blabbed to someone. Then she tried to make you pay more of the rent as some kind of trans tax. You had to do what you had to do. Not the asshole. Are you sure she was cut off? Not the asshole. My guess is your sister didn't tell your dad directly since he is angry with her too, but she instead told one of her friends or maybe your mom, and the news just reached your dad through the gossip grapevine. Being that your boyfriend is still closeted, your sister shouldn't have told anyone at all about this, but still, the biggest asshole in this story is your hateful, bigoted dad. How sad for both you and your sister. Not the asshole, she was told the truth by you and all you asked is that she didn't tell your father and all of a sudden a week later he knows, and she's the only one in contact with him? Consequences have actions and she now needs to accept that she's going to need to find alternative accommodation for herself. Not the asshole. Your father is the main asshole here, for cutting you and your sister off. Your sister is an asshole because, after you made it clear that you couldn't afford to pay 3/4 of the rent, not that you should have had to, she should have either committed to paying half or made other arrangements, just as you did. It's not just your issue. Your father cut off rent subsidy to you both. Your sister says she shouldn't have to pay more for your issue. It's not your issue. It's your dad's issue. Your dad is the one who's caused this situation, not you, and your sister needs to lay the blame squarely where it's due. If she shared the info that caused your dad's tantrum, whether directly or via your mother, sister, then she shot herself in the foot. That's not your fault either. And if, as I suspect, you're in the UK, she can get a hardship loan from your uni. They are designed for circumstances like this and will tide her over while she finds new accommodation. Though it would have been easier for her to simply get a PT job for the extra £250 per month needed to remain living with you. Not the asshole op. Not the asshole. Fuck around, find out. Your sister found out. Have you asked your dad who told him about your boyfriend? You could resolve many problems if you have this information. Not the asshole, you're offering her something cheaper than everywhere else. I'll bet she never told your dad directly, which is why his homophobic transphobic ass is mad at her too. I agree that she probably told your mom or sister, who passed along the message. You were perfectly reasonable. You also provided half the rent for the last month after you moved out, so she has a bit more leeway. I hope your boyfriend is okay. Being outed is tough, especially when the person who found out is so transphobic. Info: if you believe your sister told you your dad, why would your dad not help your sister with the money? She says I'm being unfair, selfish, and cruel, and that I'm intentionally fucking her over. Point out to her that you are not the asshole and that her father is the one whose actions have made her homeless, and to address this to him. Not the asshole, she did this to herself, she was only hoping it would hurt you though. I wouldn't even talk to her without an apology to you and your significant other for outing them to a known homophobe. So not the asshole regardless of who told your dad, even though it most likely in some way was through your sister if nobody else knew. She shouldn't have been so uncompromising about your shares of the rent if she didn't want this kinda shit to happen. Man shrugging, light skin tone. Not the asshole, abandon her just as she abandoned you. She put your partner at a serious risk of harm, not just by your father's words but by violence too. It's pretty inexcusable emo. Move in with your O and let her stew in the mess she made. Not the asshole. Actions have consequences. She's an adult and needs to learn to act like one. You've both been cut off by the true asshole in this story, but like an adult, you and your boyfriend have put in the effort to find an alternative solution. Your sister is behaving like a brat and it will do her good to be up shit creek for a while. Most universities have a crisis plan for students whose circumstances suddenly change, so I suggest she gets in touch with student services and asks about emergency accommodation. Although I suspect they will tell her to find a house share like 90% of the other students in your classes. You and she were definitely living in a privileged arrangement that most students don't have, so she'll need to suck it up. But yeah, you're not the asshole here. Not the asshole, play dumb games, win dumb prizes. Not the asshole. Weird how dad knew not a week after sister found out. Stick to your guns. Not the asshole. Sorry to hear your dad is transphobic. Not sure what your sister was thinking telling either mom or dad directly about it. She couldn't connect the dots that it wouldn't end well for either of you? Her outing your boyfriend resulted in no longer having subsidized rent from your bigoted dad, then she refused to fairly split the rent. You were right to make other living arrangements since she was being unreasonable. INFO, are you on the lease? Changed to not the asshole, op won't be on the lease when they move out and they will be paid up. Not the asshole. She shouldn't have told your dad. Not the asshole. Even if transphobia and information leak weren't at play here, your sister is responsible for 50% of the rent. You found the flat, that in and of itself is work. You both paid 50% of the $500 rent before, so why stop that 50-50 arrangement now? Plus you've both been cut off. If she can't afford it without the supplemental income, why should she expect you can? That reasoning doesn't even take into consideration the fact that she shared information that she knew was detrimental to your father's health, who is a huge Transphobia sucks. I'm sorry your family is being so awful about it. But glad you and your boyfriend were able to find a flat together. Not the asshole. Her sister is a massive asshole for outing someone. Also, if they find her BFST kit, just say he has a hormonal deficiency. It not a lie, and people don't snoop more if you word it that way. NTA. You have to take care of yourself. Both of you were cut off. It would have made more sense to band together, regardless of whose fault it is. She can always go live in the dorms. Not the asshole. You told her not to say anything for both your benefits. She got the consequences you thought would happen. Now you can go NC with both your transphobic dad and your sister who outed your BF. Not the asshole. Probably a moot point at this time, but there are plenty of reasons for AMAB men to take testosterone at any age. So disclosing that he is trans doesn't have to be an option in the future. And quite frankly, it's not anyone's business why anyone takes any type of medication. Not the asshole. She told someone. She may have not told your father, but she told someone and it spread to him. Your budget shouldn't be screwed because she's unable to budget for her portion of the rent. And you shouldn't be on the hook for triple the rent because your father's homophobic. What was she gonna do when you graduated college? Beg you to stay until she was done and could support herself? Hell no. She told someone and she shouldn't have. People gossip accidentally and purposefully, so she made her own bed. Not the asshole. Your sister blabbed to someone and now she's suffering the consequences. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. The fact that your place is monthly is perfect, and easy out of the situation for you. However, the fact that your dad refuses to help your sister, assuming this is true, indicates maybe she didn't tell. How else would he have known though? Anyway, not the asshole. Are you absolutely sure you only told your sister about your boyfriend? It's important to know so you can trace the source. Also, does your boyfriend have any socials that you dad could have stumbled upon? Overall, you're not the asshole because your family are transphobic and allowing something that isn't their business to interfere with your family life, but also taking emotions out of this. Your sister may need your help and some more time. We are in lockdown and I'm sure it's even harder now to find accommodation than it was before. It's a sticky one. Feel for you, mate X. Not the asshole. She obviously told your dad, so she's actually the one to blame for both of you being cut off, so she should pay the $750 surely? Anyway, move out and enjoy. Not the asshole. Although I wish you had just said it's boyfriend's medication prescribed to him by his doctor, and he'd prefer to keep his medical information private, when she found the vials and syringes. Your issue, weird way of spelling, our shitty dad. Not the asshole. Enjoy your new spot and maybe consider going low no contact with toxic sis and dad. Good luck. Not the asshole, but don't lose sight that the biggest asshole is your dad, not your sister. One question, was your boyfriend living with you and your sister at the flat? If so, it would be totally reasonable of your sister to ask that she get to pay only 1/3. Another similar option, could your sister live with you and your boyfriend, at least for a while until she finds a new place? Last but not least, your father needs to pull his head out of his ass. Definitely not the asshole. From my experience in sharing accommodation, the only rational thing to do when you can't find middle ground with housemates is find somewhere else to live. Your dad was paying 50% of your rent and 50% of your sister's. You should not feel obligated to now pay 50% of your sister's rent just because someone else, your dad, is no longer paying it. Unless, of course, your dad previously stated terms of paying half the rent required you to not date a trans person. Y'all, what's the difference between transgender and cisgender? I've been looking at Google but I still don't understand what it is. Frankly, I'm not sure I believe her. Because she's fucking lying. She did this to herself. Too bad, so sad for her. She probably thought she'd be the golden child and be rewarded by dad for outing your boyfriend. Outing someone is disgusting. What she did is vile, even if she only told your mom, other sister. That wasn't her info to share. Not the asshole. Congrats on the new apartment. Cutting ties with these toxic transphobes is for the best in the long run. You are not the asshole. Your sister probably is. Your dad definitely is. Not the asshole. I agree, it sounds fishy that your sister finds out about your boyfriend being trans. And less than a month later dad suddenly knows. Well, maybe this will teach her that her actions have consequences, and the consequences are she no longer has you sharing a flat. Hope you and your boyfriend enjoy your new place. Not the asshole. Your dad is a huge bigot and the biggest asshole in this situation. It's people like him that make life so hard for trans people, and I'm proud of you for sticking by your boyfriend through all of this. Screw your father and screw your sister for not keeping her mouth shut. She knew what could happen and blabbed anyway. This is all on her. Not the asshole. Your sister got herself into this, and your dad is an obvious arsehole. Slightly OT too, but is your sister even in uni? I'm a PhD and all our undergrads are WFH unless they're on a course that needs practical work, medicine, vets, dentists, physios. I wouldn't feel too bad anyway, but especially not if she's not even in for anything. Not the asshole. Even if she didn't tell him or anyone else, she's still blaming this whole thing on Op for having a trans boyfriend. If she was supportive, she would have suggested moving to a cheaper flat together. But she decided to finger point and blame Op and her boyfriend. So even if she didn't say anything, the sister is still the aw. The way your sister keeps calling it your issue speaks of guilt. She totally told your family, Op. That being the case, she caused the problem, so it's her issue, not yours. Let her lie in the bed she made. Think of it positively. You no longer have to lie by omission to your transphobic family and you get go live with your boyfriend. Win-win. Info. Why would their dad not help OP's sister out if she told him? Why are people so confident that she is lying just because of a potential coincidence? We don't know the full story. Maybe she told a friend or something, or maybe somehow the dad found out another way. Not the asshole. Maybe if she hadn't outed your boyfriend to a transphobe and then insisted you had to pay her share of the extra rent that resulted, she wouldn't be in this situation. As the saying goes, she let her mouth write a check her ass couldn't cash, either by telling dad or someone else that told dad. Then she expected you to cover the bill. She did it to herself and she can deal with the consequences. She has had just as much time to find other accommodations, but she instead used that time to try to make you pay. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. It doesn't matter if she told him or not. You cannot afford to rent that flat with her, and are being as upfront with her about this as you could have been, due to circumstances outside of your control. You cannot control the amount of financial support your father provides you. Whether or not she told your father, the flat is unaffordable for the two of you.